Hi, Karen from EdibleWildFood.com here on this glorious day in mid-August. Today, I'm not going to focus on just one plant. I want to show you one of my favorite areas that I enjoy coming to gather different plants for different reasons. And I guess in a crazy way, you could call this a virtual plant walk. I'm not going to get into any major detail about any one specific plant, but I just want to show you how when you're standing here amongst the green, when we get a little closer, what do we have? What is there that is considered edible? So right here, this is the yellow wood sorrel or sorrel. Citrusy, has a nice tang to it, contains a fair bit of oxalic acid, but so does a lot of food that we eat. So if you have kidney issues, you need to be very careful about this specific plant. And I suppose no plant walk is complete without the dandelion, even if the dandelion is looking a little sad. And speaking of looking sad, we have some very small raspberries, wild raspberries. Actually, a little further along the trail, there are tons of them. And I think, well, actually, I'd like to stay out of the sun as best as possible. Even though we don't have humidity today, it's quite the temperature. Keep your eye open. And there we have St. John's wort. This is the plant after it's gone to seed. Hang on, we're going to get rid of some of this grass. We still have some daisy fleabane to be had. It's not one of my favorites, but at least I know it's edible if I had to. And I think in many ways, this is how we need to look at wild food nowadays. Many people, we go out there, we're foragers, we enjoy certain plants, and we target getting only certain plants for certain reasons, whether they be for food purposes or for medicinal purposes. But by every indication, what mainstream media has been telling us recently, we're coming up on a food shortage and a food crisis. Whether you like some of these or not, get to know them. They may become your best friend in the kitchen. You just never know. So let's continue on over here. The milkweed. Now the milkweed plant, this is not throughout the United States or Canada for that matter. It's only, I believe, eastern and central areas of the continent. These specific pods are too big to use when they're smaller. You can use them in the kitchen in a variety of ways. You can just simply roast them. I like to make a replica of buffalo chicken wings with these. But again, they have to be about 2 inches or less. And if you're interested in that recipe, I'll post it below. And every plant that I see today, if it's on my website, I will make sure that I put the link to the plant description below. Of course, as you can see, there is a significant amount of Queen Anne's lace. Now, Queen Anne's lace is one of those plants that you have to be very careful of. To an untrained eye, you can get it mixed up with hemlock, and that's not a good idea. So the identifying factors of Queen Anne's lace, aka Daucus carota, is, let's see if I can get in real close here, hang on, that sometimes helps, and I don't think it did. Let's try that. There we go. I think I've got the hairs. You can see the hairs on the stem. That is certainly one of the main identifying factors that this is wild carrot. There is no purple blotches all over the stem. That is something that is indicative of the poison hemlocks, both the terrestrial and aquatic versions. Some people will say the for sure tail is if the flower has the single purple or red floret. And sometimes those florets are pink as well. That's not always the case. Not when it's the Daucus carata. Some of them do. Like this one. There it is. And as you can see, this is not one specific flower head. It is an umbel, meaning there are literally hundreds of flowers on here. And again, on this specific flower head, one floret. This one appears to be purple. The flowers are edible, the leaves are edible, and the roots. And we've had a lot of rain, so let's see. Yeah, beautiful. See, I'm right in sandy soils here, so the removal of the roots are easy. The roots are edible too. However, I must say, this is a biennial plant. What I have in my hand is year 2. These roots right now probably are devoid of most of the nutrients it could have because of it being year 2. Not really worth going after at all. However, and I know somewhere around here there is the first year plant, which is only the leaves, and bingo. You see, if you look hard enough, seek and you shall find. Because where the evidence of the plant is, you know there should be some more first year growth. So let's see. There we go. Look at that. Multiple. Look at the roots. These roots are loaded with countless minerals and vitamins and phytonutrients. These are amazing for the health of our eyes. Free. Why not? Take them. Make tea. Grind them up. Add them to any one of your favorite meals. They're really good for you. Chance knows. He likes to join me on my walks. Alrighty, so I'm going to pause right here because I'm going to have to string a few together. Sorry if I have to do these pauses, but it will be absolutely necessary, as I mentioned. Now there's the guy who's behind the scenes holding up the shovel. This is my husband, Martin, and for all of you who have always wanted to know why is the website as great as it is, it's not because of me providing the content as much as it is Martin putting it all together in a format that you have all been enjoying for many years. So he is actually my scout right now, and he's going to find me some burdock root and dig it up so I can show you burdock root. However, before we get there, Heal All. Heal All is one of my favorites. The leaves are edible. The flowers are edible. Let's see, come on, let's get focused here. There we go. A good photographer's trick, by the way. If something you want to take a picture of just isn't coming into focus, put your hand behind it. These flowers make an incredible oil when combined with some lavender and argan oil and vitamin E oil. Your skin loves it. No added chemicals, no added anything. And guess what? For the most part, it's free. I have a recipe for that, and I'll put it below. So the leaves are edible. What do I do with them? Well, not a whole heck of a lot. They just get tossed into the salad, as many of us foragers do. And I also like to add it into casseroles and different dishes. I'll add it into my manicotti when I make manicottis. Anything I can get it into. Okay, this is great to show you. Now many people will look at this and go, hey, broadleaf plantain. No. Broadleaf plantain, Plantago major, is an import. One of the imports I'm very grateful for. This is the native plantain, or plantain is the proper pronunciation. This is Plantago rugli, or Rugel's plantain. You can tell because of the purple. By all indication, what I find absolutely astronomical is that the nutrition level of this plant, including the seeds, is almost spot on with the import version. Kind of incredible. Two plants, two different continents, yet nutritional values are almost the same. Now, I shouldn't disappear too far from this plant, because having said that, from a medicinal perspective as well, this will stop bleeding, it will stop itching when you just kind of break the leaf open and rub it onto your bite or your bleeding. Now, I'm not talking about substantial bleeding. I'm just talking about something very minor here. So, yeah, and it's great for skin issues. Just take some really nice fresh leaves like these, let them infuse in oil, make a salve. Nature is absolutely incredible what it gives us, and it's all free. Now, also what's free is seasonal allergies. Okay, now, this is about to go to, it's ready for pollination. This is your ragweed, and I'm going to do a lot of people a favor and get rid of it. This is the cause of seasonal allergies because it is wind pollinated. Let's get rid of you. The reason why Goldenrod, which these ones haven't quite flowered yet, I guess this would be the closest. These guys are to blame, or many people will blame the goldenrod. There's one that's flowered over there, because it is the one that we see. It's the one that we sneeze and we see the yellow flowers everywhere. Look at that. Hang on, let me try to position this better. Hold on here. Kind of hard with the angle of the sun. Hang on. Into the bush I go. Sorry about the jostling around there, but I'm trying to get a close-up of the flower, but there we go. I guess with the green background, it's not too bad. These have actually been used as the antidote to seasonal allergies. Now, I'm not to say that this plant, the goldenrod, can cause allergies. It can. Food allergies, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. But it is insect pollinated. And every scientific journal I have read says that when a plant is insect pollinated, it cannot cause seasonal allergies. It's the wind pollinated plants, grasses, and trees. Kind of end of the season here. Sweet white clover. Why they call it a clover, I'll never know. It's not even in the clover family. This is an incredible plant. The seeds are edible. Very, very fragrant though. So you've got to kind of go easy on it. Let's see if I can put some blue sky behind it. It might be easier to see these guys. I'm trying. Bear with me. Okay, it doesn't want to cooperate. So I've been taught by a very incredible First Nations elder, Raphael Moses, that when you take this plant, roll it up. So you're going to take it, and you're going to create, I can't do it with one hand, but anyways, when you roll it into a wreath, it makes a wonderful, wonderful room sanitizer, an air freshener. It is absolutely incredible. It's natural. Not to say you might have an allergy to that, but at least it's not that chemical stuff that you're spraying in the air and dancing around to. That stuff I wouldn't do ever. Okay, here's Heal All after the flowers are going off. or have kind of fallen off. They're past their best before date. There we go. There's the St. John's wort that is going to seed. There we are. And where some life passes on, new life comes up. The goldenrod. Of course, goldenrod season. All right. We're going to continue down the hill here. Lots of goldenrod. Colts foot. This is a plant that, yeah, I would say in a survival situation you could eat a little bit of. I certainly wouldn't recommend it. It has a lot of alkaloids that can cause some chaos in your system. This is meant more to help you when you have a cough, and it helps to quell that cough, but you want to get the cough right at the onset. So between the colt's foot flowers and the leaves, that is certainly something to seek out for natural cough remedies. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Heal all. Plantain. Goldenrod. Okay, so I've just come down this little bit of distance and a lot of repeat plants from your dandelion to the plantain. Goldenrod, of course, and I'm stopped here to show you. Let's see. This is horseweed. The leaves are really thin. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in to see the hairs on the stems very well. So, yeah, the stems are a little bit hairy. I think you can see that there. If you like spice, if you like heat added to your food, try these leaves. They pack a punch. Might not hit you right away. Might take a few seconds before your tongue activates that sensation or accepts the sensation of being hot. There's one that is past its best before date. But this is one of my favorites. Horseweed is absolutely amazing. Okay, again, plantain and dandelion. Heal all, no shortage of it. Now, I just want to talk a second more about the Queen Anne's lace. And I might do that as I walk here. Many people who live in the southern part of the United States or along the west coast from California up to British Columbia, you might be looking at this and saying, okay, so is this Daucus carota or is this Daucus pusillus? I won't have an answer for you because I'm not there to know the main identifying features. But one thing I do know for sure is that the Daucus pusillus, which does not grow in my area, is almost spot on identical to this plant. This, the Queen Anne's lace, is your import. This came from Europe. Whereas Daucus pusilla is native to North American soils. But again, it only survives, from what I have read, in the southern half of the United States and on the west coast. The good news is that the leaves are edible. Or not the leaves, sorry, the root. So whether you have found a plant that resembles this, and you definitely have identified it to be a Daucus carota or Daucus pusillus, so long as there are hairs on the leaf, hairs on the stems, and there's definitely no purple blotching, and the root smells like carrot, then chances are you've made an identification that is correct. But always seek a second opinion if you're not sure. Back up here. I want to mention this plant. This is the tall Lactuca Bananas, Bananas, I believe it. Lactuca Bananas, I believe, is the Latin name. The reason I hesitate on this one is because I'm really not sure whether this is edible or not. It's going to seed there. And the reason how I know it's not Lactuca cereola is the leaf structure. These leaves are very soft, very soft. They're very much like lettuce. They have a better texture to feel in terms of if you were to eat it, in terms of Lactuca cereola. But the big question, and if anybody has the answer to this one, I'd love to hear it. There is no science out there that says this is safe to eat. But there's no science out there that says not to eat it either. So this one I leave with a big question mark on. No question mark here. Vitus Raparia, wild grapes. These leaves are absolutely amazing. They contain resveratrol, as do the berries. Female plants produce the berries, males do not. And these look rather young, and I do not see any berries here, but I will keep my eyes open. Okay. Let's keep walking. And yes, the cicadas are out. I remember when I was a young girl, I used to think it was the heat of the day that caused the wires to make, the hydro wires to make that noise. But I grew up and I learned better. Okay, burdock. Now, technically, yeah, I was going to say technically those leaves are edible. Do you want to? Well, if you're brave, there isn't anything that's going to hurt you, from what I've read, but the taste is just not desirable. However, you can see the size of these leaves are huge. And, see, there's my hand. So you can see the comparison. Wrap your fish. If you've just gone out fishing, wrap a fish in there, cook it over the fire. Absolutely amazing. A lot safer than using aluminum tin foil. But you have to make sure that you keep this moist, otherwise it's going to burn up as you cook it. These can be roasted. The petioles, technically these are the leaf petioles. This is the first year burdock. And if you want to go after the root, you want the root of the first year for several reasons. Number one, and especially more so into the autumn, because all the energy and goodness is being returned to the root to store over the winter time to produce the second year plant, which it's got to be somewhere in here somewhere. When I find one, I will let you know. So, the root, look at the size of that. It's a significant size. And you can tell not all of it was to be had because some of that root is still down below. This is one of the areas that I love to get burdock because the soil is sandy. It makes it so much easier to get to. When you are on a flat, well, I'm not in a flat area right now, but when you're in a flat geographic area and you're trying to gather the burdock root, you need to start digging at about at least 12 inches away and start coming at it because these roots are huge and they go down, and in many cases they can go down a good 10 feet. So, you're coming home. This makes a brilliant green tea. Look at that. All right. Try to get it out of the shade there. Okay, we'll put them down here for comparison. Look at that. Lots of burdock root coming home, folks. Wish you could be here to join us to enjoy the burdock tea later. And it also makes an incredible meal. So, what do you do with it? You can slice it, use it in a variety of dishes. I highly recommend that you research Gobo, G-O-B-O. There you will find way more recipe ideas because this is actually cultivated in Japan. The root. Check out these roots. They contain so many different minerals and vitamins, astronomical contents. And it also has minerals that we usually do not get from our diet, including cobalt. Cobalt, many people will think as a grayish mineral that can really cause a lot of health problems. And on one hand, yes, too much of a good thing is a really bad thing. And I'm certainly not talking about the industrial uses of cobalt, but cobalt in its natural state, we have to have. This is how we get our vitamin B12, folks. We have a vitamin B12 deficiency amongst our society, and it's not good. We need more B12. You can buy supplements, of course. Why is there such a deficiency? Many reasons. Our soils are nutrient deficient, in my opinion. And I think it's 32% of our cobalt intake is supposed to be from dairy. So a lot of vegetarian and vegans aren't getting it, but neither are people who are not vegetarian or vegan. Because what is the main fodder for most of our cows now? Corn. And what's not in corn? You got it. Cobalt. Okay. I will be talking more about that using my blog at some point in the near future. Literally everything I am passing here is food, with the exception of soapwort or bouncing bat. Way too many saponins in these guys. But the beauty thing is, if you get your hands filthy dirty from digging up roots, and these guys are around, wash your hands. Really makes your hands feel soft. And it cleanses them quite well too, I must say. Okay. Looks like we got some repeat offenders down here. You might notice some red berries coming up on the left. Don't eat these. You'll be sorry. Honeysuckles. Don't eat the honeysuckle berries. Boy, do they look good. They look tasty. You eat those. If you don't make it to the emergency department, you're going to wish that your toilet reclines. It is brutal what these will do to your digestive system. Stay away. There we go. Some more wild grapevine with Queen Anne's lace, with goldenrod. And for anybody watching this who are in states that do not have the riverbank wild grapevine, or there's some tendrils, hang on, look at those tendrils, which is technically Vitus Raparia. What does grow in your areas would be Vitus arizonica and Vitus rotundifolia. Both are almost identical to the Vitus Raparia. Alrighty, so what's down in the wet area now is the marshland, I guess you could call it. Louver Vein. Quite a unique plant. The leaves are edible. There's quite a few of them here because it does prefer wet areas, wet locations, swampy areas. Let's see. I'm not going to be able to get into it because there's a lot of water here. And I'm in my hiking flip-flops. I know that just sounds ridiculous, but once my hiking flip-flops get wet, it makes it much more difficult to hike. And let's see if I can get into a leaf shot here. Oh, what the heck, huh? It's warm. I get 1 foot wet, who cares? There we go. There's the leaf. Wait a minute. Got too much grass in the way. There's the leaf there. Louver Vein. And you'll notice that some insects have gotten to it. If there's a few insect holes that they've enjoyed the food from, I'll eat it. I don't care. Wash it. No big deal. But as a whole, this is no different than being in a grocery store. You want to pick the best looking produce. From your cattails, way over there, to your loose strife. Loose strife is edible. Louver Vein. Okay, I'm going to try to make my way through here. And the heal-all is still growing in this wet environment. Okay, so just around that corner down there is where I last ended it. And as it turned out, I ended up with 2 soakers, but that's okay when you're wearing flip-flops. I do not recommend that you wear flip-flops when foraging. That's just something crazy that I enjoy doing. All right. Do I see crackers on the menu? Let's see. Well, all right, let's do it this way. Let's get help from the blue sky. Yellow dock, or crispy dock, or wavy leaves, or whatever name you'd like to call them, because in so many different geographical areas there is a different name. Wavy leaves that are way past their best before date. Anyway, these seeds are incredible. They're nutritious. They're coming home because I'm creating a new recipe. Stay tuned for that. In here, I suspect this is Bugle Weed. This just caught my eye. Check that out. This is in the mint family. And all mints are technically edible. And I suspect that's Bugle Weed. And just because, again, something is in the mint family doesn't necessarily mean it always tastes good. Some of them do not taste good at all, like motherwort. There we go. Loose strife. Just gorgeous. I know conservationists out there listening to this are probably cringing right now. This is an amazing plant. The leaves are edible. And the pollinators do love this plant. Oh, there we go. More Queen Anne's lace. No shortage of it here. And more Burdock Chicory. Here we go. Chicory is really interesting. Usually around 6:30 in the morning to 7 in the morning, these flowers are appearing faithfully as long as it's sunny. And then around noontime, so you know what time I'm filming this, they disappear. Or they don't disappear, they close up. They've had enough heat for the day. Right now it's probably, I think, around 11. The flowers are edible. The leaves, see, the leaves are edible too. Although when they're younger, right now they're not going to be all that good. Oh, and an attempt at getting the root. Some people say that this makes a great coffee alternative. That's their opinion. It is certainly not mine. Added to my coffee, I absolutely love it. Roast the roots, grind them up, add them to your coffee grinds. It actually helps to make that coffee a little less acidic. And we do not want an acidic body, especially not first thing in the morning. Catbirds over there somewhere. I love coming here. This is not mullein, folks. Well, it is a mullein. I think it is the Mothmullen. This too has seen better days. Mothmullen, to my knowledge, is not edible. And Purplevetch, there seems to be a fair bit of science that says the root of the Purplevetch is medicinal. But when I do my plant walks, I always say, just stay away. Oh, check that out. Wow. Okay, so I am going to continue along here because I know we're going to be changing terrain shortly and we're going back up a hill and there will be more plants to show you up there. Just pre-goldenrod season, Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to show you one of my favorites. Check that out. Beautiful, huge red clover flower. Leaves and flowers are edible. Same with the white clover, Alsiki clover, tomcat clover. All are on my website. But the one thing to keep in mind with clover, if you want to use it as food, you must be very careful in the beginning if you've never eaten it before, because it can cause gas. Now, the gas can be as simple as just passing wind. That's not offensive, or it can be very problematic. And I shouldn't be laughing at this point, because it can cause some serious gastrointestinal distress. You will bloat up. It will not feel good. It will feel absolutely wretched. So please, if you're going to be eating clover for the very first time, first, and I should have mentioned this right at the get-go, always do the universal edibility test, which is on my website under the foraging page. But even after you've done that and the clover is deemed to be safe for you, or any other plant for that matter, just go slow. Just because these are edible doesn't mean that you should be eating like there's no tomorrow. Moderation is key. Very, very important. But back to the original clover, which, here we go. It can cause gas. Go slow. Be careful. Alrighty. See, this is some Mothmullen again. I believe it's Mothmullen. And now I think is where I will pause it. I'll talk more about this mullen. Many more will come out. They kind of pop out just like popcorn, you know. I like to use that phrase because they never all occur at the same time. The flowers, when infused in oil, are really good for those who suffer with earaches. And if you want to give that little extra power, infuse some garlic in there as well. You can eat the flowers, of course. Not much to them. The leaves are edible. Not these guys. They've seen better days. But getting the leaves of the first year plant, yes, they are furry. This plant has been referred to as cowboy's toilet paper for good reason. I wouldn't recommend using it, or you have to be careful to get the fibers going the proper way with you, not against you. These have also been called candle torches, Aaron's rod, all sorts of names. But remember, only the first year leaves, and first year leaves that look happy. These ones don't look too happy. There we go. And the leaves have been used medicinally for centuries. They have helped with bronchial coughs. Very powerful. So that when you do eat them, moderation. Yarrow, the common yarrow. Like the plantain, this is a styptic. Will stop the bleeding on a superficial cut, that is. Makes a great tea, a healing tea. And evening primrose, which I'm going to head over here because there are more. No shortage of evening primrose here. Beautiful, beautiful flowers. Edible. Very peppery in taste. Leaves are edible. The roots you can roast, but from the first year plant, I wouldn't recommend it. That would be from the first year. Actually, I'm correct. I stand corrected. Not the first year. Sorry. Don't listen to that. If I find the first year, I'm getting sidetracked here because I'm got the camera on one subject and my eyes are scanning around for another. But if you find the first year, if you want an image of that, go to my website. Link will be below. Flowers, leaves, and the roots. I'm going to wrap it up, if I can find it, with two more plants. Actually, one I have already mentioned. That was the plantain. These are coming home with me. I just wanted to show you the root system. Just crazy. Love it. Absolutely amazing. And I could have sworn somewhere around here I saw a lamb's quarters. There we go. There we go. Lamb's quarters. Many people will say this is an alternative to spinach. I like to say it the other way around. I love the taste of this. Leaves, seeds are edible. And there we go. There is actually one more thing.
The pine tree.
It's one of my favorite trees. That I can do a 2-hour video on at least. It is absolutely incredible. But I'll leave it here. And I'm going to finish up to show you some of the publications that I have created. First of all, the Foraging Cookbook. Thank you to Callisto Media. This is available on my website, and if you click the image that you see on the website, it will take you to Amazon, as I am an Amazon affiliate, and that is the only way that I sell it from my website, so your support would be greatly appreciated. These publications I have printed myself. Fields of Nutrition, Winter Survival Food, and coming next week, which will be August 12th approximately, the Pictorial Guide to Edible Wild Plants. I want to thank you for sticking it out to the end of this video. And even though on the website I have a special that says purchase any 2 of these that you are looking at right now and receive 2 PDFs for free, my special for you being here this whole video is if you purchase all 3, you will get 5 PDF publications for free, and they will be your choice. The link below will be provided, but you have to click and purchase from that special link in order to take advantage of the special. And my PDF files are of plants that include comprehensive information from nutrition, medicinal, recipes, history, you name it. They are loaded with info. Again, if you'd like to take advantage of the special by purchasing all 3 of these, please click at the link given below. Thank you. Thank you everybody for being here with me today. I wish you could have actually physically have been here with me. Your support is certainly appreciated,